Hey everyone, I'm Mark Herman. I've been surprised by the response that I've gotten to the 360 videos I posted to my YouTube channel recently. And I've noticed there's been a lot of questions in the comments, so I've gone through, I picked out just a couple of them. If you do have any more questions, feel free to comment them below this video, and I'll go through and I'll answer some of the more popular questions. I'll do these every so often. And eventually I'll do live videos. You can ask me questions live, interact with me, and things like that. I'm more behind the camera, not used to being in front of the camera, so this is a bit new to me, so bear with me. I'm going to try and do this all in one take. One of the things that I saw was someone was concerned that you could see a shadow of a 360 camera on a stick, but you could not see the selfie stick in the video. So this is the actual camera that I used in Antarctica. This is a Insta360 X4, and I'm just going to show you that you can see the video here, and you can see my messy desk, and I'm clearly holding it using a selfie stick, but it automatically removes it in camera. I don't have to do anything special to make that happen. There's no weird VFX trickery. This is a very durable camera. If you watched my first video, you'll know that. But yeah, it's a feature that they have called invisible selfie stick. I think it's pretty cool. You can get some really cool shots, almost impossible camera shots with that. So there's that. Let's start from the beginning of the trip. A lot of you commented that the plane was empty, which seemed weird. It's 757, holds hundreds of people. There's so few of us on there. What gives with that? So basically, Antarctic Logistics and Expeditions, ALE, they're the ones who organize the trip. They do different trip packages. The one that we went on was called Antarctic Odyssey, and boy, it was an odyssey. And so these trips are pre-planned in advance, and Will Duffy reached out to them and kind of piggybacked on that existing trip. So that plane was going there regardless. That trip didn't really sell as much as they thought it would. They also had to collect at least 70 marathon runners. So that plane was going there no matter what. And it's better to fly a plane with 15 people on it, as well as some staff that you didn't see in our video, than to fly a plane out there with nobody on it. And there's cargo that needs to go in and out of Antarctica as well. So it doesn't really matter that there was only 15 people on the plane. It was pretty awesome as an aviation fan myself to be on a jumbo jet, a 757, essentially having it as a private plane. It was an amazing experience. So there's that, the empty plane. We did not see any penguins, unfortunately. We were several hundred miles from the coast. Penguins live on the coast because they need to be able to go in the ocean and eat fish. And where we were the only life. It was a really strange experience. There was no bugs. There was definitely no crime. The first time we left the remote camp, I felt weird leaving all of my camera equipment and laptop and all of my belongings there in a converted shipping container that didn't have a lock on the door. But the ALE guide reminded me that there is no crime in Antarctica, or very little. I'm sure there's still crime. So there was that. One thing that hasn't really come up in any videos that I've seen, I've seen a lot of people talking about the Amazon LED wall volume wraparound 360 or the Sphere, and something that I want to point out that no one really has, having worked in the television industry before and having worked with LED walls, I'm sure that'll generate a new conspiracy theory. They're pretty fragile. They don't like cold weather. But beside that, if you'll notice, sometimes if you film a TV set or you film an LED wall, you'll see a weird pattern, almost like it's dancing, or even if someone on camera is wearing an outfit that has pattern. That's called the moire effect. And when you work with LED walls, you have to be aware of the moire effect. You want the wall to be a certain distance behind the person that you're shooting in front of it, because it needs to be slightly out of focus. Otherwise, you'll get the moire, or the focal length of the lens, the proximity of the camera, all of that can cause moiraying. And so if you look at all of our footage, please go through. You'll see as we're moving around, you're not really seeing that moire effect. And you also notice on the 360 cameras, everything is in focus. So you would absolutely see the moire effect on an LED wall if we were using that. We didn't. We went to Antarctica. I got sunburned on my face and on my lips, which I've never been sunburned on my lips before. And I did put sunscreen on, but if the sun doesn't set, that kind of messes with your perception of time. So I forgot to reapply. That's on me. Next time I go, I'll set alarms on my phone or something. So yeah, the LED wall, totally busted, totally debunked. Why would there be the world's biggest LED volume in Antarctica anyway? There's no movie production that happens there. It's such a remote and extreme environment. A lot of people don't really realize that until you go there. Like, I thought it would be a walk in the park, but it is extreme. It is dangerous. It can get cold really fast. Luckily, we had great weather for the time that we were there. The first day I was walking around in a t-shirt, some people walking around in a little bit less than that. I don't have that kind of confidence, but if the wind isn't blowing and the sun is out, it wasn't horrible. So there's that. What else did I have? No penguins, sunburn, selfie stick, shadows. Yes, some people are saying that the shadows go different directions. There's different lengths. Luckily, with the 360 video, you can always see where the sun is in the video. So if you look at the sun, that is a single source of light. And you look at, so the sun's here and you have a person standing here, their shadow is going to go that way. You have a person standing here and the sun is still over here, their shadow is going to go that way, because there is that single source of light. If we had studio lighting, you wouldn't have that effect. You would have shadows crisscrossing on top of each other. You don't see that. You see when people are separate and how far away they are from that single source of light is how the angle works. I'm not a lighting guy. I'm not a shadow expert. I'm sure I said something wrong there, but that's the general idea of it. Generalizing a bit. I'm not an expert. I'm just some random guy. Yeah. So shadows, sun's low in the sky. It'll make shadows long. It was a really, really interesting environment, and I've never been anywhere like it before, but I would absolutely like to go back, and I will absolutely take a whole lot more video than I did. I had no idea that these theories would crop up involving us, and yeah. One last thing is the 24-hour live stream that we attempted down there. There were a couple of factors that happened. So Will brought his own Starlink. He brought this gigantic, it's like a marine, it's like a $2,500 antenna, because you need a special Starlink for Antarctica, apparently. So he set it up at home. He tested it. It worked. Didn't leave it powered up for long, and brought it down to Antarctica. Apparently it required a software update, which went at 3 o'clock in the morning, Antarctica time, which was still broad daylight down there. And that took it offline. So you saw that with McToon's live stream. He got kicked off at 3 o'clock. It sucks. He should have done that software update before, but there was really no way of knowing that that was going to happen. The other factor was we were using Will's cell phone to stream to Rumble. And Rumble is a great platform. I'm a big fan of their free speech initiative and lack of censorship, but it's not quite as robust as YouTube. So we were using the Rumble Studio app on Will's Android phone, and that we had trouble getting it started. I don't know if any of you saw it, but it started in black and you could hear me, but you couldn't see us. Then we finally got the video on there. And so that was going great. We were manually moving the camera to track the sun. But when we got kicked off the internet, when Starlink did its reboot, that app would not let us rejoin the live stream without completely starting over, deleting the link, start creating a new link. And that wasn't something that I was able to do in Antarctica. So our executive producer that I worked with created that link. He was in London at the time. He was long asleep by that point. So it didn't seem like it was a hill worth dying on at that point. I wish we could have used YouTube. I wish we didn't have to deal with the Starlink update in the middle of the night. But things happen when you're in one of the most extreme and remote environments in the world. Literally, I was very surprised at how well Starlink worked out there, because it's so remote. There's very few satellite overflies that happen there compared to the rest of the world, just because it doesn't make sense to waste resources on a continent that has maybe 1,000 people max on it when you could serve millions of people elsewhere. So I was very surprised that it worked that well. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you have any questions, comment them below, and I'll be doing these every so often. And yeah, thanks for watching.